My name is Angela O'Neill, and welcome to Stories in Progress, a place where faith, creativity, and storytelling intersect. Okay, so something really fun is happening for this podcast episode. Interview with my good friend Brittani Rodriguez, Journey to Hope Ministry. Now, Brittani and I worked together and we had a really good time creating characters for the Big Picture Show at Mariners Church. And one of our characters, we were called the Spy Principals. We were principals in a school that were uncovering all these mysteries. And so I'm going to pull one over on Brittani. This episode is going to start like that because I'm going to put on a jacket, a hat, and some sunglasses and play a little prank on Brittani and see just what her reaction's going to be. So you're in on it. You're in the loop. Yes, we're starting this podcast off really fun because that's where we're going to go. So I got to get ready. I got to put that on so that, because Brittani could come on any minute. So here we go.
I love that.
You can't see me. I'm incognito right now.
My principal at the finest. I love it so much.
Just your regular principal over here.
Yeah.
You can't tell me. Okay, literally, I was watching it, and we did things like, it's okay, I've got an invisibility cloak on.
And
we were invisible. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes. Well, hello there, my fellow principal.
Principal.
Okay, I gotta take this invisibility cloak off so that the people can see me while we do this interview.
Yes, and so you don't sweat. Of course, we need to see the glitter and the jewels.
That's all for you.
Yeah.
I don't ever wear sparkle.
Ever. I've actually never seen you, or my daughter has not asked for the sparkled, bejeweled jacket.
No,
like
never, ever does that. It's just not even in my character. Okay, if you guys can't tell, that is sarcasm. Brittani!
Hello.
Okay, so usually podcasts don't just start like we're in, but to pull off the little prank,
I loved it.
I had to go full commitment. Now I was sitting there for a second. You're totally on time, but I didn't know, like, what if she comes 5 minutes early? I've got to be ready.
You're just like sitting there like,
yeah. And there's a little bit of commentary.
Truly, it's like I was trying to describe like, oh, my like friend wrote a book. Like I have a friend that wrote a book now. Like, so I feel like we're somewhere. And I'm like, but when we get together, usually we're laughing and we've had lots of coffee. So
true, which I have my coffee here.
I drank my whole cup of coffee.
Well, I am all about multiple cups of coffee. I just get my friends really caffeinated.
Like just shaking at the
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said no to going and getting coffee.
I don't know if I've ever heard that. No.
I think if I say no, legitimately the answer would be, is everything all right? What do you need some, like, do you need to go to urgent care?
Yeah. Because even if you're like, I'll just get like this.
Right. It might not even be for the coffee more, but it's the experience.
Yes, it is. I'm not an experienced coffee girl. I did get a new Nespresso machine.
Ooh.
So like I got to gift the one. If people don't know, I was like praying one day for an espresso because we were like in our broke days, very hardcore. And then Angela, I go to her house and she's like, you want this Nespresso machine? And I'm like, answer to prayer. So I got to then gift it to someone else and get a new Nespresso machine. And now every morning I'm like, give me all the coffee, even more.
Yeah. This is Nespresso. Listen, Nespresso, if you're listening, Brittani and I are both okay with sponsorships. We are regular connoisseurs of your pods.
We will literally go in front of your storefront and pose.
I know, as spy principals.
We will think we are invisible, but don't worry, we can take off the cloak
And
to.
people will see us. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. There's our little trip down memory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all, I don't know the rest. This is Brittany,
Here I am.
my good friend Brittany. We have too much fun, as you can tell, because we probably could have gone on for about 5 hours with shenanigans. Um, whether at work, not at work, or wherever, we just have a good time together.
Yes, we do.
And Brittany is someone I adore. Um, I'm honored to call a friend. She does amazing things. So today, Brittany, I'm gonna structure us so that we don't go on for the 10-hour tour. Although I think it'd be entertaining. I'm not gonna
It
lie.
would be
Nespresso,
entertaining.
we'd have, quite a few cups of coffee in there. So, just throw that promo code over this way and we'll
Come on,
anyway.
espresso. We got it.
I'm just gonna see how many times we say Nespresso till they start listening.
Hashtag Nespresso.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be there in the show descriptions. Um, but today we're going to talk a little bit. Yes, like you said, I wrote a book and you have a copy of my book. And I said, listen, oh my gosh, there it is. Mine's
Here.
right back there. Oh, and so I said, hey, pick a chapter. This is a surprise for the host, which is always a fun thing to do. Let's talk about a chapter. Um, so we're going to do that. We're going to talk. So, stories in progress. This is all about faith, creativity, and storytelling. All these are a few of my favorite things. Like, there you go. Um, we're going to talk about Yippee because you are filming for kids
Yeah.
and people should know about it.
I forget
And,
I do it sometimes. I'm like, there I am.
and at this point, Yippee is saying, I think we need some spy principal action. So,
Don't make me text Adam.
oh, text Adam. You tell him.
Yeah.
You tell him. I wore my sparkles just for him today. Um, and then we're going to talk about your ministry. You have started a nonprofit and Journey to Hope Ministry. It's an incredible nonprofit that people need to know about, know why you started it, know the
Yeah.
journey, um, the statistics, which are mind-blowing. So this is an organization Brittany has started to help and come alongside kids who are aging out of the foster system.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about that and let people know how they can get involved because that's
Yeah.
an important thing.
Ooh, I'm so excited. Literally, all these topics are my favorite.
I know.
Obviously, not like I don't want to, like, I want to talk about myself all the time, but I've just been preparing and I'm so excited to start this conversation.
I love it. Me too. And that is why everybody buckle up for the next 10 hours.
You're welcome, in advance.
You're welcome, everybody. Okay, so Brittany, we'll start with the book and then we'll jump into everything. You have a copy of Unspoken Word. Right now, there's this whole thing of start a book club for the summer.
I
I'm
love
telling
it.
the listeners, and I will send a personal video to
Oh,
the book club and say, "Hey, hello, how you doing?" And so, you know,
I love
me, Miss Seven on the Enneagram. This is my way of saying, "Hey, let me be a part of all the clubs because
I want to be a part of every club.
I want to be a part of every club. Let's just start clubs."
I love it so
Uh,
much.
so anyways, that is for you listeners. Start a book. You gotta let me know. I can't just know that it has started.
Yes.
So gotta let me know through my email. All that's in the show notes. But Brittany, what chapter are we talking about today?
Okay, I have been so excited and I'm gonna slightly derail the conversation. So Angela's picture's right here, right? So I was reviewing the book and my son wakes up before we get to school and he goes, oh, why is that girl on there? Because he remembers Miss Angela.
Mhm.
And I'm like, she wrote a book. He's like, but why is she on the book? I'm like, because this is her book. He was like, wow. And he just walks away. So I'm so excited that like I get to experience this. I was struggling with choosing two chapters because when Angela was writing this book, one of my favorite things is she would give me like little sneak peeks, and I'm like, write it. I can't wait to read it. And there's so many things about like I love spoken word. I love when you're able to express yourself through I call it dramatic play because it is something that we get to do. So we are talking about chapter. You see my little sticky notes?
I
Where
love
I was
it.
like, in between Nicodemus and in between the woman at the well.
Okay.
So those two were where I was going. And so, can you guess which one I choose?
No,
No?
I
Okay,
should.
I chose the woman at the well.
Oh, yes. Great. I love that.
I It was so good. I'm literally reading it and I'm like, ah. And then when I reread it, I was just like, I loved how the story came to life in my mind. Like, I loved watching, like, oh, wow, this is like to see. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there were like just some key lines that I was like, that is good. That is
Oh,
so good.
yay. Well, let's talk. I love that. I love that. So that is one of the both Nicodemus and her are in the very beginning.
Yes.
2020, when I just was writing as basically reflection of my quiet time.
Yeah.
Those were some of the OG reflection spoken words. So,
Yes.
um, anyways, I love that. I love that you chose her. This late, but you know the funny thing about not funny, but the ironic thing is she's one of those unexpected leading ladies of the moment. She
Yes.
would not have been who society would have picked to
Yep.
have this chapter with this incredibly long
Yes.
recorded conversation with Jesus.
Yeah, the dialogue and what I love, because then I was just as I was reading and I'm looking at the background, I loved when it was just the contrast to, I think you said like she like it was because of him, not because of her. Like that is the last lines of the spoken word. And it was just such a good reminder of like first he chose a woman like a woman, a Samaritan woman, like, and then you go through the background of what that looks like, and then on top of that, like then he knew her life and she had a choice.
Ah,
And at the well, like I love that it was like the impossible, like I'm reading it, a life changed by him, impossible become possible, not because of me, but because of him. And it just struck me, and I like sat there and I'm like, ah, that's such a good reminder. And so yes, so that's why I chose the woman at the well. I love a lot of obviously the whole book, but I'm like I was like, ah, how do I choose? But I just love this story.
yeah, me too. Her story provides hope for all of us that it literally is because of him. And hope, and also that reminder of when we think it's because of us, nah, it's
Yeah.
really, but it's a choice for us to join in and look at that invitation and how he's inviting. And the fact that the conversation recorded right before hers was Nicodemus, this religious, like very, he would have been the one we would have chose. Oh yeah, he's going to be the one that makes a difference because he's got all the accomplishments and he is the studied one and he knows what he's doing, you know. Yet we think that Nicodemus probably believed, like, just if you look at scripture and he's later kind of trying to uh sway the Pharisees away from the plots on, and then he's at the tomb with Joseph of Arimathea. So that would point towards belief. But in
Mhm.
that moment, and this is no knock on him, or no knock on anyone's journey. It's just what we would expect in our mind would be, oh yeah, Nicodemus would believe, and then he'd go on, and then he would do these things. But
Yeah.
that's not what we see. We see kind of a open-ended
Mhm.
ending. It's that, when you write a story, you go, okay, so what's the ending? Well, Nicodemus's is the, I don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know. It just ended, you know?
Yeah.
And
No,
then
absolutely.
her go, drop everything
Hmm.
just to go, I got to go tell people about this guy.
So what I love about um the Samaritan woman is often like how we view how we should come to Christ or when he changes our life, we kind of want to feel like we're put together, like we don't have to be A, B, and C. But
Right.
this woman was so changed that she could not help herself.
Yeah.
Like she allowed herself to look foolish because she knew like the change that happened in her life. And like, man, what a convicting of like, is my heart leaning towards like, come and see,
Mm.
come and hear about a man who really like that to me, I'm like, Lord, may my heart always lean that way.
Yes.
It's so good.
So the interesting thing is, and you bring it up, come and see this man who knows everything I ever did.
Hmm.
And so I'm gonna what do you think was different? I'm gonna ask you because surely the town knew everything she'd ever done. Yet
Yeah.
we find her alone at the well, which points to isolation, and that points towards the outcast side of things, the time of day that she's at the well, which all of these things, when you understand that part of the story, which is part of, the background to understand, when we hear she went at noon, nowadays we go, cool, she went at noon. No, 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 no. She went to go get the water to supply
Yeah.
for the people, in her household, which is a interesting dynamic. Um, at noon when it's hot and it's heavy and it's alone and she's alone. And so all that points towards the outcast side. So surely this town knew
Yeah.
everything she'd ever done. And we know
Yeah.
what gossip, the gossip wheel that can go. So what do you think there had to have been a different response? Because Jesus told her everything, he didn't shy away from everything she'd ever done.
Yeah.
Yet her response is so radical. What do you think? Just
Ugh.
go in the what if. What, because that's what the spoken word does. It's okay, place ourselves there for a second. What do you what do you imagine that was like? I mean, I have my thoughts.
I think when we look at gossip and we look at when people are talking about you and not even leaning to understand, like we have the best intentions, right? And everyone else doesn't. That's
Yeah,
how we think, right? I think obviously there was shame and guilt, and that's what the enemy uses. And with that gospel mill, with all of that going around, they might have known what she's done, but to know the brokenness of the heart that is only being able to seen by the Lord. And so if I could imagine like what was different when she met Jesus is like the word says he is truth and grace. So he did not shame her.
right.
He told her the truth, but he offered something. When we gossip, when we do all these other things, we're not offering life.
So
We're feeding death. We're feeding to where like we're adding to the poison.
right.
And so I think about if I then heard my sin on full display and someone say, like, okay, like I want to fill you. I want to like I would then rejoice in like, oh, you actually like know me.
Right.
Like I'm not doing this because and obviously evil exists and things like that, but typically we're doing this because there is a lack of and she needed to hear like here's the truth but my grace meets you and so that's kind of like my if I could think of anything about that moment um I would say that's different. Shame and condemnation came from the town. Grace and truth came from Christ.
Right. Which is so important because to not miss the fact that truth was there. They both existed together
Yes.
in the purest, most beautiful form. Uh,
Mhm.
so I got to do this spoken word once I've done it multiple times actually. But the first time I did it was for a women's retreat, and I was super scared. and I was speaking at it. And my second session, I went, okay, there's not going to be a lead up. And let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm just going to go for it, go in character, start doing the spoken word. It might be confusing. People might be wondering what is going on. Also, I'm telling it as if I'm her. So, will they start? I mean, these are the thoughts going through my brain. Will they think that I'm telling my story? Will they catch on that this is the woman at the well? So even kind of that understanding of what, and they totally caught on to what it was. But I remember the moment I was looking out. It's one of those vivid memories of I got to the line that says, could it be Messiah? And
Mm.
it's almost, and I think of that and I go, was she asking a question or was she making a statement? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, but even to ask that question is to think that this is the possibility. There's something about you for me to bring that up. Could it be Messiah? And then he says, I am he. And then I said the words, my eyes were beholding the king, and I started sobbing because it was all of the grace and truth of her story that is also for our story. So her story is her story, but it's
Yeah.
the same for all of us. And when we behold the King,
We are transformed.
we are transformed, and there is no room for self-righteousness
Yeah.
or pride or anything other than
Hmm.
adoration. And how is it even possible that I am beholding the King right now?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I love if you have not seen Angela perform spoken word, miss on you. But what I love is whenever like there's a difference between when you perform something and you don't believe in it, and when you perform something out of like I get it. Like my life is transformed by it. And that's why I love reading this because I also think, like you said, like when you behold the King, your life is forever different. And we can continue to behold the King because he died and rose again, and the Holy Spirit lives inside. So like there's so many like truths of like living water means it's continual.
Right,
It's not just in one moment, one singular, I accepted Jesus, I got the heebie-jeebies, and I'm on.
right.
It's like, no, like we get to encounter him every single day. And I'm like, that's what this story says. Like, that's dramatic. You had how many husbands and you over here living with somebody else? Like, that's a lot. Okay. So like you even pick someone that is like you're a woman, we don't even talk to you. I
Right,
need to go out of my way to even not even go to this people group because these people group are disgusting. They're an outcast. They are not God's chosen. Like all like you can go so deep into this and he still was just so centered and so focused on like no, I chose you. I chose this moment to say I am he.
hmm,
Like that is the choice I made. And like, so it's like, God continues to choose us repeatedly. And like, yeah, it doesn't matter of what we've done. If our heart is repented, if we are willing to behold the King, that's why I love this one so much. And it is so, so worth it. And it's so good.
yeah. Right. And so beautiful to think of. We serve a God who pursues us.
Amen.
That moment was so intentional. And I love the motley crew of the disciples. And even like imagining, so you want to go to Samaria, but like the in thing to do is to go around. Or you want to go in. I mean, imagine that spot now.
Yeah.
You go, no way would I go straight down that road in the middle. I'm going to take the long route. It's going to be more
Mhm.
exhausting. My shoes are going to be, I'm walking this. This is going to take me a lot longer. But that the us these days to not experience the discomfort or maybe the shame from the
Yeah.
other Jewish people. You went where? You did what? No, Jesus went straight through. And then they're off getting food and they come back and they're going, what? What's even happening?
Yeah,
You
what were
know,
you
what are you doing? Because culturally, that wouldn't really happen where a man and a woman would be talking like that.
doing?
So the intentionality of Jesus to break down cultural barriers, break down social barriers, and break down personal barriers all in this conversation. Let's just like walls of Jericho, we're going to come
Coming
crumbling
down.
right now. And then, she disqualifies herself. I could go on and on and on about this story. She disqualifies herself three right away. And I imagine if I'm directing this scene that she's going, listen, let me just get Molly is wanting to say hi to you right now.
Oh, Molly.
That's my dog. Listen, let's just move on. I don't know why you're here, but you're a Jewish man, you're Jewish, one man, one. I'm Samaritan and a woman. Like, here's a whole bunch of reasons why we shouldn't continue this conversation. And Jesus, like, but listen, I'm offering you living water. And just to know, like the conversation continued, and how easy it is for us to disqualify a moment and say, you know what, I'm not going to go sit by that person in church because that's uncomfortable, or I'm not going to go tell my story to someone because that's vulnerable for me, or maybe that person's gossiped about me. And so now it's just ammunition. But,
Mm,
when you get that Holy Spirit nudge and you're like, but let me give you five reasons why we should not do this. And she gave them in the beginning. And I know when I've told my story before, I've had the no one's going to listen, it's too small, it's insignificant, it's this, it's that. Do you think like you could really come back from, I mean, all the things. If one lie didn't work, the next one came, or truth even. I mean, it
yeah,
could, but it's a
yeah.
truth used against that the enemy uses to steal the moment.
Mhm.
Then to know after this transformational conversation, she goes, let's go. I'm leaving my water jug and I'm going to run in, and I don't care what people think. I'm going to go tell them about this man. Come and see. And Jesus spent, I think it was 2 days in Samaria, and there was revival in the land.
Man. And and man, I also like I love, love, love when you said like look at the disciples, how often do we discredit God's power, that he is capable of saving people that were like, no way.
Right. This isn't,
This
two things, Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesus has better things to do. It's like, no, he loves his people. Like he came to die for the entire world. Like that was his mission. And so I think it's what you said is just I literally felt a little convicted. I'm like, oh shoot. Where am like I was like, that's so
What was meant to be.
I know it was like the Holy Spirit was like, let me tap you on the shoulder right there because there's often times where I'm like, I don't want to give them ammunition. Like they were this way to me. And he's like, show kindness. I'm like, no, no. And so even there, I'm like, man, God, you're in all details. Like you love us so much that big or small, like your story is your story, how God meets you. Um, and that is exactly like how he's designed it. And some things we do on our own. I won't don't discredit that. But he is faithful and just. And like that's just who his word says. So I love, I think if I look at the story, I'm like, yeah, I'll be Samaritan to woman and the disciples. I'll be like, first of all, this is out of program. Service is going way too long. You missed the key. Like I would
Traffic that is going to start because we are not out right now.
we have plans. Okay, sir.
Jesus,
Like
let me tell you how we do things, okay?
let me tell you, I'm in a learning lesson. So it is like I often when I'm like reading this story, I'm like, may my heart be like that it's a repeated, let me come before you. Tell me what do you need to see in my heart that I need to surrender to you? And then I'm able to go and say, shoo, this is not me. This is all him. Like I am being obedient to come before him, but he is faithful to reveal himself to me. And he does it every time.
Which is, I mean, and that's the incredible thing. If it were easy, then it'd be like, oh yeah, look what I just did, right? But that woman just went to the town that condemned her and didn't invite her to the water party, didn't, I'm a seven, we think of parties like, okay, it would be more fun to do this chore if we were all
Together.
together, and
Yeah.
so, or she just didn't want to go.
Hmm.
But um, it would be easy. It's easy for me to go, hey, Brittany, let me tell you my story,
Yeah.
but not easy in other senses. And I'm and every the next step is different for everyone with how God's going to call us to something. I
Really.
think it's just when we step into what He's calling us to, it's incredible to then go, oh my gosh, look at how He showed up. That was
Oh,
scary,
yeah.
and look at how He showed up.
Uh, that's so key of like, and sometimes we feel like God is calling us to all these things, and like his scripture, his word says he's calling us to himself.
Right.
So we can get that confused with passions and desires, but those are blessings. Those are added bonuses to, like, no, he wants us to first seek his face. He wants us to first give our all to him and seek after him. And then we get the opportunity to then live out these other gifts and talents that he gives us. Sometimes we get that confused as even as,
Totally. That
yeah,
that's the first thing is let me pursue my thing, but
yeah,
really, let's just pursue Jesus. Because it goes down to even the fact that he didn't need her to go. The revival could have happened without her.
yep,
He doesn't need us, but he invites us to be part of it.
and
And that
that's
is grace right there because
yeah,
we are still gonna be the disciples and go, but let me tell you how it's done, Jesus. Let me, like,
yes,
this, doesn't, it's really not how we do things or whatever it may be.
yeah,
Um, Yet he invites us in all of the things, and that's gracious as well.
yeah, no, absolutely, 100%,
Whew, okay. This is the first time Molly has tried to get in the podcast
because it's me.
because it's you. Usually she goes and sits on the couch or on her little bed and just is calm, but she wants in on this fun. So if you're watching, um, that's Molly.
We love Molly. Molly loves me as long as I have chips or treats, and I don't speak too loud, because sometimes I scare her when she's relaxing.
You would think that John and I are the quietest people in the world with how Molly reacts, and we are not.
No, mm-mm. And I love it so much. But Molly is literally like she's so sweet.
She's a hall monitor. Okay. Oh, she just went like this. Brittany, let's talk about Yippee.
Okay.
So this is all about storytelling and creative storytelling. And I mean, yes, I know Spy Principles was your favorite thing ever. Uh, but tell our friends, what is Yippee? What do
Yeah.
you do with Yippee? Um, and how can they find Yippee and you?
Yes. I It's actually so funny because I literally when I tell people like I'm like this is what I do and then I forget that I have the opportunity to be on this platform. So Yippee, how I kind of describe it, it's basically like a Christian Netflix. There are shows on there. They have like daily Devo shows. That's the show that I'm hosted in or that I'm on. They have like a bunch of kids, like the Veggie Tales, not the new Veggie Tales, like the Veggie Tales that are still soaked with the gospel.
Dead.
It's really good TV, family friendly, and my kids watch it, so I love Yippee. Like I also have my kids watching it. So it's a like a monthly subscription that you can sign up for, and it just is something I can walk away and know my kids are not watching trash because it's so easy. And like one of our favorite shows, which my producer, he created this show. It's called Maggie's Market. And what I love about Maggie's Market is like it takes this imaginary play and they're having so much fun and doing really silly, weird stuff. And then it ends with identifying with the kids of like, so this is how we feel. This is pretend. but these feelings are real and we can surrender these to God. And she ends with prayer. I'm
Wow.
like, I could not ask for a better, like, object lesson or a better, like, as they're viewing these things. And so I have had the honor of being a Daily Devo host.
Okay.
It was a funny story of how I actually applied for this
Oh,
thing
okay.
because I had no idea what it was. My friend was doing it and she was like, you should just try. And for those who don't know me, I have twins who now they're 6 years old, but they must have been 21 years old. One. And I have
Not
my
fun
bonus
that they're sick.
babies. Right. They're six. They're like gigantors. And I have bonus babies. I have now my oldest daughter, she's 16, and then my son, he's 12. So at that time, I had a bunch of littles, and it was always crazy chaotic, and it was 2020. So it was also like we just kind of, church was getting back started. There was a heat wave in California, and we were having church outside. Basically, just you want to be a servant of the Lord. This was the time. And so
We were
they I
literally in the fire.
yeah, literally in the fire. And I had to like submit a tape to like apply. And I'd waited to the absolute last moment. I like rinky dink put the phone in the countertop and I just did it. And I just kind of left it and was like, you know what, Lord, you got it. If you want me to do it, you want me to do it. Fast forward 5 years later, this is one of my favorite things to do. So the Daily Devo show, what it is we retell Bible stories,
Yeah.
and put it in the lens of kids' real everyday life. So we use situations from our own lives, and we add character things and fun graphics and things like that. And it's been incredible to be a part of it. It's literally one of my favorite things to do. And we have an incredible cast, and so I just love it so
So
much.
good. So good. I love, and that's so awesome. That element of if you were to walk away for a second, your kids are watching a show and
Yeah.
somehow found their way off of the show and onto a different show, there's no worry that of what they're about to see.
Yeah, commercials, things like that, that it's like, it's definitely like if I could encourage any parent, like my 12-year-old loves it. Like they have things for every age. And even clean, like there's this one show that I don't know, it's like they do a bunch of stunts and tricks. Kids
Okay.
love it. They can
Yeah.
watch hours of it. They're like dropping stuff off of a cliff onto a trampoline. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, I love it. It's clean. They're not talking disrespectfully. They're having fun. So it's the simple things. And so, yes, if you don't know what Yippee is, you can research it. Type WIPP. They would be very disappointed in me right now. Um,
Okay.
you
It'll be in the
guys-
show notes.
well, it'll be in the show notes. It'll be in the show notes. Yippee! Yeah, just kind of sound it out like that.
Okay.
Um,
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's good.
so it's definitely I think it's only like 7.99 a month, like a month. It's so worth it.
Oh
Give
yeah.
away that Starbucks coffee one day out of the whole month, and your kids can watch something incredible. So you can follow them on Instagram, and everything. They're on there. So definitely in the show notes, Angela will have it. Check out the Daily Devo show. You'll see my face. Hopefully, I don't awkwardly see you at Costco, when I'm like
I actually
shifting
hope for
through.
that to happen.
You know, they stare at me. The little kids are like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, I remember in the height of big picture show days when we were back in person, kids would attach to their favorite character or the
yes,
first character they saw us as, and
yeah,
it never changed. So
correct.
I was oftentimes Molly
Always Molly.
after my dog, character after my dog, inspo after the dog. Uh, but a kid's Molly. Yes. And it never would go away, no matter how many more characters were played,
Correct.
whatever one they locked
Hmm.
in their minds as you, that's what stuck. So those are
Yes.
fun moments. So yes, find her at Costco. I don't know.
I mean,
Say
maybe don't find
we
anywhere, but
don't maybe don't go looking for her,
if
but
we run into each other, I'm really not like that popular. So I know like might be making this seem like I'm like everyone's like, oh my gosh,
listen.
you must be giving out autographs. The only autographs I give is I sign documents, paperwork.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So Yippee. Now,
Yeah.
here we go. Buckle up
Okay.
for this. Journey to Hope Ministry.
Oh, yes.
It's now been around for 3 years.
Hmm.
Okay. Tell I want people to hear one, the gravity of the situation.
Yeah.
Um, two, how did this happen? And
Yeah.
where are we going? And Molly wants in on this again.
Molly, I know
Yeah,
you love me.
I know. Yeah, she goes, tell the people, Brittany.
I can tell the people the story. Yeah, I love that. I love so I'm gonna yeah, and please cut me off if you want to ask more questions because what I love about where God has brought me, I think 3 years ago when I sat on Angela's couch and tear-filled eyes of like, I don't understand what God's doing. Like, there's so much hurt there. I feel like He's leading me in this direction. And now to be able to be 3 years later and be like, this is the best decision I've ever made,
Yeah,
was definitely so I feel like this all started with a prayer, a dangerous prayer, I now say, because I was working at a church and I loved it. I loved what I did. I filled me in so many ways. And I was praying for this big promotion. I got the promotion. I got the salary. I got the life that I assumed I wanted and needed.
yeah.
And my prayer to work every single day was like, God, I really want to know you. Like, I want to know you so deep. Like, I want what's your will. And I thought I was praying for this job. I thought I was praying for better wisdom of how to lead my team, of how to lead this ministry. And God, I would used to say rudely interrupted that plan.
Yeah,
But it was just unexpected.
yeah,
Um, there was just tragedy in my own home that we had. Just my daughter was struggling with mental health, and we walked through something in our family that was difficult. And I was at a crossroad. I could no longer there's so much messiness in this, okay? So like it was just so messy, but was definitely had to be asked to lead in a different way. And like there was just something so conflicting in my soul of God, I was asking for more. You're calling me to more. This does not feel like more.
mm,
Now I feel like you have derailed the plans of where we're going. We're going over here.
right.
And he's like, you might have been going over there, but I am calling you over here. And
Yeah.
um, through this process, it was heartbreaking. I decided to step down from that position, and step away from that organization. And through that was like, I didn't know who I was. I was so wrapped up into where I thought God was leading me and into position and into title and I was doing God's work. So how bizarre is that?
Yeah.
And
Your plan.
really, yeah, literally. So got to sit in this women's conference I didn't want to be at. I just went out of obedience to the Lord, and He completely said, like, really revealed to me that I really thought this organization, this church, was going to take me
Mm.
to where my final destination was, and He just made it clear, you asked to know me, and
Oh,
this is a
wow.
perfect opportunity.
Wow.
And through that, I would say this past, yeah, since 2022, I have never been so close to Jesus.
Mm.
Then in a place where he had to strip me of title, of position, of comfortability, a paycheck that like took care of my family, community that I thought was like my everything, all of these things, and was just like, just be a mom for 6 months. And I'm like,
Wow.
boo. I'm like, no, thank you. That's hard. That's hard. I like to go to work. Truly. Like, I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, Brittany, how could you ever say that? No, workaholic here, so I have to like
Yeah.
actively slow myself down. And so through that time, I felt like I was like, okay, I felt like I healed. I sought wise counsel, was able to really close that chapter enough. Like, there's still a lot of healing processes. So, um, and then I remember one day praying of like, God, what is next? Like, where are you leading me?
Right.
And yeah, so he revealed like just a story to me of this young girl who was going through foster care and now she was an adult. And I was watching the effects of, as an adult, she aged out of foster care and never like, I couldn't believe, I'm like, what in the world? Like, how are you, how are you functioning?
Yeah.
And had no support and all of these things. And so then I started researching and how God does it so well. I started asking my friends, I'm like, I think God wants me to start like this organization. I remember telling you, Angela,
Yeah. And I was like, let's go.
you're like, let's do it. She's like, what is it going to be called? What is it going to be named? What are we going to do? That's like how our conversations like happen. We were like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's how Journey to Hope started, of really leaning into like, where is God leading? What is he doing? And I think Angela asked the question and she just asked me like, well, like, what scares you? Like, why wouldn't you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, just, I've never done it before. And so
Sure.
it was just like so beautiful to process with friends and like healthy friends.
Right.
And then be on the other side of like, now this whole organization started. 3 years now later, I'm like, Lord, this is completely yours. Like, you started this, you gonna need to finish this, sir, because this is a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the whole he invites us in and we go and
Yes.
we think, well, I don't even know what I'm doing, but
Yes.
okay. I'm
Yes.
gonna give you my yes. That's about all I got.
That's
I don't know what else it looks like.
all I had. I'm disqualified. I don't have the degrees to be doing this. I don't have anything besides my willingness to say, like, I care about these people. The population for kids who age out of foster care system, like, it's alarming.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's about 70% will end up in prison,
Wow.
like girls being pregnant, their kids then being in the foster care system. Let's talk about not graduating high school. 3% graduate college.
Wow.
Like it's so alarming. They're couch surfing, they're in abusive relationships. So even what these youth, because they're young adults to me, I call them my kids, and I'm like, you're a young adult, you're a young adult. Um, what these kids are going through, they're just lost.
Right.
And we as society are like, get it together. Like you need like stop muddying my streets. Like you need to go to prison because you don't know. Like there's so many different narratives that then they believe, or they're operating out of fear. And so through this, we got connected. So, Journey to Hope Ministries launched in 2022, and our whole goal is to transform the lives of youth who are exiting the foster care system by equipping them, by empowering them. And the most important thing of why it's called Journey to Hope is that we want to be with them on this journey.
Right.
And we believe that the hope is Jesus. And how we show Jesus is not only like it's through our actions, but we get to be a part of their life and their story, to pray over them,
Right.
to surround them with churches who love them and want to support them. And so that's like the heart of the organization. It has blown my mind. Whenever you start something, you initially think it's going to be one way.
Sure.
And I immediately thought we were going to have a transitional house. We were going to have a house with kids coming in and out and all this stuff. And the Lord's like, how about you first build trust with the community? And I'm like, yeah.
Sounds
Um,
like a great idea.
Sure. And how about we first make sure we work on your character, that this is not about position or title.
Wow.
And so there's been a lot of personal work that the Lord has led me to, of realizing that I could hustle all day,
Mm.
but if I'm not rooted and grounded and I don't first take care of my family, if I don't first like be like a wife, be a mother, like all this is, it means nothing. And that's what I had backwards in my previous season. It
Right.
was my job, my church, my husband, my kids, my family. Like it was low. You can't even see on the camera. It was just how it was reversed.
Yeah.
And how God has my life now is it's first Him, it is my husband, it is my kids. And then I have the opportunity to do something very cool, and it's Journey to Hope Ministries. We call it J2H as well, as how the shortened version. But that has been the process here.
Yeah. That's incredible. It's that radical um shakeup of
Yes.
of everything. Yeah, so incredible. And 3 years ago, would you have thought, oh yeah, this is where
No way.
God's going to be taking me?
No way. And the doors, like a little bit of what we get to do. So we have the opportunity to partner directly with they're called spas. So a DCFS, a office where in children's services, that we do a Christmas party.
Mhm.
We do a graduation. We've
Mhm.
did our first Valentine's Day event for girls. We do a sports clinic. All things I'm like, I don't know how I have time for this stuff. And thank God for volunteers and people who
Yeah,
also have a heart for these foster youth. So we get to do a lot of those things, and we're only increasing that with some mental health services coming up soon. Actively seeking where we will put our home, and then doing some like more job fairs and things like that. So it's been really exciting to see where God is leading and the conversations we get to have. Journey to Hope sits on a board, that families before their case gets taken by DCFS, we then sit and talk with the family. We actively see how do we not let them like lose their kids? Like how do we help them?
yeah, yeah.
And so never did I ever think. Sometimes I'd be sitting in these calls and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why they keep calling me. I don't know nothing. Like truly, the amount of times I tell my husband like I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I'm like, we'll figure it out. Or I'm like in my prayer book of like, if you don't take this ministry, it will fail. Lord, like I cannot do it without you.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the thing he led me to leads me to complete dependence upon him. That
Knowing him.
it's just knowing him,
Every
like full circle. And I'm like, so be careful what you pray for. You over here praying for stuff. Yeah, and sometimes you're like, God, why are you doing this? Like, you could
Yeah.
give me, you could do this, you could do all these things, and his plan is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, the stories we get to hear.
Yeah. And
Incredible.
doesn't mean the plan's easy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Plan is not easy at all, man.
but better.
So,
Yeah.
and the journey of like, I don't have to do this alone.
Right.
Like, there's a clear indication of Journey to Hope is not my identity. If it closes, that does not change who I am. It does not like, and that's something I'm actively learning.
Sure.
But I think what's so beautiful about this process of I have to truly do it out of selflessness. Like, I'm not doing it so my name could be known, so that I could have like, I'm doing it so that Jesus will encounter these kids if I meet 10 of them,
Right.
like whatever it may be. Like that's why we exist. We do these things called birthday boxes. And so we get to offer them to the foster youth. So social workers get to hand their kids gifts on their birthday. So we do
Wow.
13 through, now we're going to go all the way to 21. And so they get a birthday gift. And one of the stories that we had was a young boy. His father was dead. So he didn't have a father in his life. His mother, all like tragic story. She was also not in his life. So he was alone. So he's in foster care, no next of kin. He is just doing it.
Yeah.
He got his first birthday box, and boys are hard, first of all. Getting the gifts for boys, I'm like, oh, what do they want? Uh, we got him like cologne, a wallet, a cup that he could use. So it's very simple things, candy. And he opened this box and he's like, I never owned cologne before. And to be able to give these youth dignity, like it's such a small gesture that I thought it's like nothing. I'm
Right.
continuing on. And what God is showing me is like slow down and see the impact I'm making right here. That these individual kids, this cup was branded in his favorite Star Wars branding. Little do I know that was just the only one that was there. So I
Wow.
grabbed it and I put it in the box because I didn't have the regular cups that I normally have.
Yeah.
It like, and so it's like God is in the details and he's writing stories that are beyond what I can do. And so Journey to Hope, that's what I love. It is truly like I tell them all the time, if you don't show up, I have to pause here. I need to take a break. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got it. I need you to like go sit down. You are not me. Like, and I'm like, but are you sure you don't need my help? Like, are you sure you don't need me to like work extra hours? I could stay up past midnight and then be cranky and like all of these things. Cause yeah.
When it goes back to the invitation to
Yeah.
partner with him, to be part of it with him,
Hmm.
think of the story of the little boy whose lunch got multiplied and who.
Yeah.
So even that birthday box where you might be thinking, Lord, this is so small. It's just cologne. It's just a Star Wars cup. And then suddenly, not that that got multiplied to five to feed 5,000, but in that little boy's mind, or that I don't know how old
Yeah.
that his mind, that small thing was so huge for him. So
Yeah.
the multiplication of the effect of,
Yeah.
and to think, how many times do we go again? But that's so small. Why would I even bring that up? Why would I, in that story with the feeding of the 5,000, Andrew's the one who goes, well, there's a little boy's lunch. That's a ridiculous response. What are we going to do with that? I mean, that's what I would be saying. I'm sure, uh, you know, I'm
Yes.
going to give this idea in front of my friends to the rabbi. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yet, our small offering in the hands of Jesus.
Oh, can't literally it he can do more transformation than I can do in a lifetime. Like
Right.
when we trust and lean into him and he
Right.
continues, he is faithful. This organization is continuously going on, not just because of my passion, because there are times where I'm like, I want to quit. This is hard.
Yep.
Like, how do I? And I imagine like we're on the same boat. It is hard to like even like writing a book and doing all these next. It is hard
It is
because
much easier to say no,
it is so much easier. It's so much easier
but it
to
is
say it.
void of the joy and I
Yes.
easier to say no by the standard of I can't get judged, I can't this, I can't fail if I don't do it. And so void of the abundance when we say yes to Jesus. This may be hard, but oh my goodness, Lord, let's go on this journey. And to think of what he reveals and how I mean, for me, the book, it was, I know him more now than I could ever because of 2 years of writing a book and asking questions and partnering
Yeah.
on this little small offering. That's why the name of my publishing company is Bread and Fish Publishing. It's always going to be my small offering. I can only do this much.
Yeah.
However you multiply it, Lord, that's you.
Wow. I yes. Ah, it's so good. And I literally can sit and marvel at like God's goodness because also too, I think what often is mistaken as weakness is relying on him,
Sure.
not doing what most people will say. No, you should do this. And I'm like, I feel peace, like his peace. I'm not avoiding, I'm actively seeking what he wants me to do.
Right.
And it's leading me to this place to be completely and utterly dependent upon him. And so I do some discipleship of women, and when I meet with them, it's so funny because there's certain times like now they're like, "Ah, I know what you're gonna say. Pray about it. Did I pray about it?" And I'm like, "Well, have you?" Because
Why
because
are you
I
coming to me?
literally
First thing, go pray and get in the
heard
word.
him, and then come and tell me what you're wrestling with,
Yeah.
so that I can then you can then glean wisdom. But what's often funny is I'm like, shoot, did I pray about it?
Sure. Oh, yeah. When we talk something, any when I can't tell you the amount of times I've been asked to speak somewhere and I think, oh, I'm going to give them this message. And then God's like, well, that's cool. But before that happens, I'm going to give you a message.
That was a fun idea.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You need it too.
that is one
Uh,
time. I'll tell this quick story.
yeah.
I teach at our young adults at our church, every so often, and I like for the first time did like a deep dive, like deeper than I've ever. Like I'm like all my notes and stuff. Usually, if you know me, I can just like kind of like do my thing and then remember and go. This day I show up, can't find my phone, which had
Oh,
my backup notes on it. Couldn't find my Bible, which had my thing on. Like the Lord interrupt like every single thing I had. Like I was literally disheveled. I got on that stage and I said, well,
It's you, me, God.
here we go. It's either you or not. And it was one of the most powerful moments in our young adults. And it was because he had to remove
Your
me,
thought. Yeah.
my thoughts. He had to remove my plan. And sometimes, like, again, to know him is to completely, utterly be surrendered. And surrender is hard,
Yeah.
but it is so worth it. And it's so beautiful, the life we get to live with him versus like, I love you, I know you, and I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Right. But I know how to do me better.
Yes. Oh.
Like, do you know that I formed you and created you?
I actually know the desires of your heart. I actually know what lives in your heart, things that are not even revealed to you yet.
Right. Right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's so good. And it's gentle. In I mean, maybe losing the phone, it doesn't feel gentle at the time. Or do we realize the good that will come from it?
Yeah.
Um, but I love how it's just the reveal, like the gentle,
Yeah.
you know, before
Hmm.
why don't we work on you first? That
That's
message is going to
yeah.
be a lot better if you don't think you're coming with the savior complex.
Yeah, you're the solution. You're not the solution.
Not we are not the solution.
Often like our pride and it sometimes it's like and it's also it's so funny because it's like I thought I was being humble. I thought I was being this and it's like maybe I wasn't being aware of the prompting when he was like, why don't you go in this direction? Dude, I spent 2 weeks on this lesson. Like I'm going this way.
Know what I've done?
Do you know how much time I spent? It's like,
Oh,
oh,
my
that
goodness.
one's for me. Got it. You were teaching me to
Yeah.
trust in you with all of my heart. That's like, yeah. Proverbs 3, 5 to 6 is wrecking me right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's I love a good Bible reckoning. Is that the right reckoning? Wrecking.
You know,
I
I
was
don't.
wrecked the last chapter of the book, which was not supposed to be a chapter in the book. And I was like, no, I'm fine. It's 11 chapters is great. And John was like, that's kind of a weird number. And I went, well, I don't care. I have 11 and I feel like I'm done. And then like a week later, I was having a conversation with an artist and chapter 12 played like a movie in my brain. And I went, oh, so there's 12 chapters. And when I wrote that, it is the chapter that wrecked me in the
Beautiful.
most beautiful way
Yeah.
of even stripping down that any ounce and I mean it's constant. We always need to
Yeah.
be armored up and ready when we think we've got something, you know,
Hmm.
handled. We should probably armor up more.
Yeah.
Um, but it was the complete stripping down of it's the criminal on the cross. And by the end of it, like the spoken word, I'm writing it and I've got to go through the emotions of this criminal mocked him first. This criminal was guilty. But then at some point there was a recognition. And so the shift and all of that. And by the end, I went, oh my gosh, I am no better than him. I
Mm.
really think that I am because I haven't committed a crime. I can really think that
Good.
my sin is less than, but my sin is sin. Our sin is sin is sin, right? And so I nailed him to the cross too. And
Mm.
in that understanding and putting myself, because I do try to get in character when I write so that I don't all sound like Angela, um, I was sobbing and this chapter had to happen that wasn't supposed to happen. So that's when I say like I mean it's not it can be hard, it can hurt a little, but when it can wreck us in the best way, wreck in the good way of like let's
Yeah.
just kind of get rid of that self-righteousness or pride or whatever pedestal you think or maybe don't even realize is there. Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah, that man.
Okay, so tell people. Do you
Yes.
have anything coming up for that they can look to?
Yes.
How can they look at some of the events coming up? And how can they, if someone's hearing this and goes, I want to give or
Yeah.
involved, how do they do that?
Absolutely. You are coming at a great time. So you can actually find us on journey, j2hministries.org. It'll be in the show notes.
Show
So
notes.
excited to say that. It'll be in the show notes. But you can also, so what we're doing right now is we have our graduation coming up. We have 68 graduates that we are going to be helping them. We do like a gift for them. We do a big graduation party with some other organizations. And so we're also doing duffel bags. So a big need right now is for foster youth who are aging out. Most of them don't have something to carry their clothes in or toiletries and things like that. Right now, groceries are super expensive. So you can actually donate so that we're trying to get at least 50 duffel bags to start.
Okay.
But yeah, so we are really pushing for our graduation, and then our duffel bag just to bring awareness of like these youth, they need hope. They just need practical things. You can find all of that on our website. You can go ahead and give. If you want to be a part of more of what we're doing, if you want to hear more about what we're doing, you can find us on Instagram. Often you're going to hear about kind of how our heart, we're just normal people wanting to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Right.
And we believe that if they have a caring adult, someone who's willing to give, someone who's willing to serve, that it will transform their life. And so we are committed to that. So you can also sign up to volunteer. We're actually possibly doing a firework booth.
Oh,
So that's going to be one of the biggest fundraisers we've done. We've got selected in a lottery system. Crazy. Didn't just, again, apply just because I should apply because someone told me about it. And then we were the organization selected.
wow. Get your fireworks there.
Get your fireworks in orange, okay, all my friends? Just drive over here, come and support us. You will be able to see that all on social media, or online. But that's how you can definitely support us. And also, we love like prayer is so powerful. Pray that God continues to give me wisdom as I lead this organization, and continues to open the doors that He's opening. They are scary.
Yeah.
They are sometimes I don't know why we get to be in rooms that we are in, but it is because of his perfect grace. So praying. So foster youth graduation. We have plenty of opportunities to serve so that you can find out all things. And then the duffel bags, those are our big things. So we would love to invite you to be a regular giver as well. Your donation really helps us continue to carry out the mission, because it is important that we meet these kids where they are at, because there's no way they're just going to keep coming to us. They don't have cars. They don't even know how to use the bus. So there's a lot of things that we are actively walking with them through.
Wow. Amazing. Everyone, show notes,
Show notes.
Instagram, website.
Facebook, we have Facebook.
Yeah, that still exists.
That still exists. I don't know how to use it really, but someone else does it for me. So
Okay. I feel old now. Um, no MySpace. There's no MySpace
no
there.
MySpace. No Tumblr. We don't use any of those things anymore. So
I know what a Tumblr is. It sounds like something that happens in my dryer, like some.
kind of like a Pinterest, I think. I don't actually know.
Oh,
It was
okay.
back
Great.
way back when.
I'm trying to figure out TikTok right now. I don't even know.
I just signed out. I'm like, it stresses me out.
Stresses me out too, but oh, gotta get the word out to the youths, as, as my people would say.
The youths need to know.
Youths need to know. Yes, this is my Italian ham.
Italian. She makes a mean red sauce.
Ah, mamma mia. Oh my goodness. And this is what they would film when we would be together.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
Brittany, thank you. I'm sure we will have you on again.
Absolutely.
It's
Please, always.
so much fun. Thank you for everything.
Oh,
We
I
love
love you,
you.
Angela.
Love you.
I believe in you and I'm obsessed. If you haven't bought it, buy it. You won't get a cute card like me that I keep. But I
Have
love,
a
love.
video
Oh, you can
message if you tell me about it.
tell her about it, but
Maybe
don't assume.
don't assume, but maybe Brittany will show up as spy principals.
I am so down for that. You actually, I love filming with Angela, so please
See,
take time.
signed contract right there. But you gotta let us know.
Let us know.
You gotta start the club first.
Yes, you don't just get the video without starting the book club.
Start a club. Hey,
Start
that
a club.
sounds fun.
Read the book, perform, do whatever you want with the book,
Yeah.
but for sure read it. Don't just like use it as a coaster.
No, but it is pretty. Just don't put
Beautiful.
your, that's what got mine up and I can say it's pretty because I had nothing to do with the cover other than telling my artist friend what was on my heart, and then she did that.
I love that. Last thing, and then we can hang up because this could go on another 30 minutes. My daughter looked at the book and she goes, "Oh, that's Jesus's hand." And we got to explain, like, she's like, "Is that where they put?" And so even like what a testament, my kid, they can kind of read. They
Yeah.
can't read this. They knew exactly, like, oh, this is one of your Jesus books.
Oh,
Amen. Hallelujah.
I
Come on.
love that.
So we just love Angela over here. She's
Oh,
our Disney princess. Hazel truly thinks she's a Disney princess. So I don't ever tell her otherwise.
oh my goodness. Let it go. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Okay, okay, I'm done.
Okay, okay, okay. Sorry, sorry.
But I mean, if you want me to keep going, I'll keep going. I'm just joking. I'm really not. Uh, anyways, before you get a whole Disney karaoke, Brittany, thank you so much. Love you.
I love you.
Kids hugs and Angel too.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.